The pulmonary pleura are the two pleura of the invaginated sac surrounding each lung and attaching to the thoracic cavity. The visceral pleura is the delicate serous membrane that covers the surface of each lung and dips into the fissures between the lobes. The parietal pleura is the outer membrane which is attached to the inner surface of the thoracic cavity. It also separates the pleural cavity from the mediastinum. The parietal pleura is innervated by the intercostal nerves and the phrenic nerve. Between the membranes is a fluid-filled space called the pleural cavity. Structure. The visceral pleura is a delicate serous membrane that closely covers the surfaces of the lungs and dips into the fissures that separate the lobes. The parietal pleura is the outer membrane that attaches to and lines the inner surface of the thoracic cavity, covers the upper surface of the diaphragm and is reflected over structures within the middle of the thorax. It separates the pleural cavity from the mediastinum. The parietal pleura is differentiated into regions in line with the location in the thorax. The cervical pleura is in the region of the cervical vertebrae extending beyond the apex of the lung and into the neck. The costal pleura lines the inner surfaces of the ribs in the intercostal muscles and are separated from them by endothoracic fascia. An extension of the endothoracic fascia known as the suprapleural membrane covers the apex of each lung in a thickened layer of connective tissue. The diaphragmatic pleura lines the convex surface of the diaphragm. The mediastinal pleura attaches to the other organs in the mediastinum and forms the separating lateral wall. Between the two membranes is a space called the pleural cavity or interpleural space which contains a lubricating fluid. Function. The contraction of the diaphragm creates a negative pressure within the pleural cavity which forces the lungs to expand, resulting in passive exhalation and active inhalation. This breathing process can be made forceful through the contraction of the external intercostal muscles which forces the rib cage to expand and add to the negative pressure in the pleural cavity, causing the lungs to fill with air. The fluid in the cavity provides lubrication and cushioning. Innervation. The parietal pleura is innervated by the intercostal nerves and the phrenic nerve. The costal pleura is innervated by the intercostal nerves. The diaphragmatic portion of the parietal pleura overlies the diaphragm and is innervated by the phrenic nerve in its central portion and by the intercostal nerves in its peripheral portion. The mediastinal portion of the parietal pleura forms the lateral wall of the mediastinum and is innervated by the phrenic nerve. Development. The visceral and parietal pleura both derive from the lateral plate mesoderm, which splits into two layers, the somatopleuric mesoderm forming the parietal membrane and the splanchnopleural mesoderm of the visceral membrane. Clinical significance. Pleurisy is a condition of inflamed pleura. Pleurisy can lead to a buildup of fluid known as pleural effusion in the pleural cavity. Pleural effusion can also occur from other causes.